was a software development engineer on the subscriptions team at a digital publishing company. A newer engineer, Maya, had strong coding skills and consistently completed well-defined tickets, but she wanted to progress into owning services and technical decisions. Her manager supported that goal and asked whether I could mentor her because I owned the renewal notification service where she had done several changes. I started by asking Maya what progression meant to her and where she felt blocked. She said design reviews were intimidating and that she tended to wait for senior engineers to define the approach. I reviewed her recent work and noticed the issue wasn't technical ability. Her pull requests were good, but when requirements were ambiguous, she asked for a solution rather than framing options. We agreed on a 3-month objective. She would independently lead a medium-sized change from problem definition through production, explain trade-offs in a design review, and handle its first operational issue. I also asked her manager to protect project time and assess ownership evidence, not only the final delivery date. I chose a renewal reminder change that involved customer preferences, scheduling, and email delivery but had a bounded blast radius. Instead of giving her my design, I shared the business problem and asked her to write down assumptions, unknowns, and 2 possible approaches. We met twice a week, but I used questions rather than corrections. Which failure was irreversible, what data defined success, and how would she roll back? My first approach wasn't effective. In her initial design review, I jumped in whenever discussion became uncomfortable and answered 2 questions for her. The review passed, but afterwards Maya told me that I'd unintentionally confirmed the room's assumption that I was the real owner. She was right. I apologized, asked how she wanted support to work, and we agreed I would stay silent unless she explicitly invited me or a factual error created immediate risk. Before the next review, I ran a practice session where I challenged her proposal from product, privacy, and operations perspectives. She decided to replace a single global schedule with per time zone queues because the original design created uneven load and confusing customer timing. I didn't make that decision. My role was to expose the questions and help her test the consequences. She then led the review herself, acknowledged one unresolved capacity assumption, and secured agreement for a load test gate rather than pretending certainty. During implementation, a dependency team delayed a preference API change. Maya initially proposed waiting because she didn't feel authorized to alter scope. I asked her to identify the customer outcome that could still be delivered. She proposed using the existing preference snapshot for the first release, with an audit that suppressed customers whose settings had changed in the previous hour. She negotiated that interface with the dependency owner and documented the residual delay. I reviewed the safety argument but left the decision and communication to her. The first production canary then showed duplicate reminders for about 0.2% of accounts. I was on call with her, but rather than take the keyboard, I asked her to lead the incident while I acted as a second reviewer. She paused the canary, traced the duplication to retries without an idempotency key, implemented the fix, and wrote the incident summary. We reviewed not just the defect, but how her rollback preparation had limited the impact to 38 customers. The change launched across 6 markets. Reminder delivery within the intended local time window improved from 81 to 96%, and renewal conversion increased 1.8 percentage points in the test cohort. More importantly for her development, Maya became the named owner of the service, led its next quarterly planning review without me, and mentored another engineer through an operational change. Her manager used the design, launch, and incident evidence in her promotion case, and she advanced at the next review cycle. The lesson for me was that development support has to transfer visible ownership, not just knowledge. My instinct to rescue the first review made the immediate meeting smoother but weakened the signal Maya was trying to build. Since then, I agree in advance when I will intervene, give people room to handle productive discomfort, and measure success by what they can lead independently after my support is removed, even under pressure.